So Silksong's been out for over a month now, and I'm going to put together a list of every single farming spot within Act 1 and 2. I think the best ones are in Act 1 and 2 anyway. If there are better ones in Act 3, let me know down in the comments below. But I'm going to take you through shard farms, rosary farms, a combination of both, so you guys will never be broke in Silksong again. The first farm we're going to look at is at the beginning of the game in the Marrow. You want to start here on the bench and run into the next room, which is going to take you into Mossholm. Every single enemy in this room is going to either drop shards, rosaries, or both, and it doesn't take very long to kill any of them. So run in, kill every single enemy here, jump back up the way you came in, and go rest on the bench. Now this route is going to give you roughly 20 rosaries per run, as well as 13 shards per run. The whole thing takes right around a minute if you become efficient at it, so you can get a lot of shards and rosaries in an hour, especially at the beginning of the game, to afford everything that you need, from map markers all the way to maps themselves. Now our next farm here is going to be located in the Wormways. This can be accessed at the beginning of the game if you have a simple key, but you do need the charge attack as well as the barbed bracelet. So even though it is accessible, you will not be able to do this until you get well into Act 2. But with those things equipped, you need to go to this location on the map where we're going to sit here next to all the falling worms and charge attack up and let them have it, and each one should give you 5 to 7 shards. This is an indefinite amount of shards as they keep falling down from the ceiling, so you can stand here for as long as you want, gathering as many shards as you can until you're maxed out. Now you do want to make sure you're going back and forth here to pick up all the shards that they drop, otherwise you're getting 2 to 3 shards every single time a worm comes down. But as I said, this is an infinite amount of shards, and the best shard farm that I have found outside of a dual rosary shard farm in the entire game. Now we couldn't have a rosary and shard farm list without adding the Greymore halfway house farm. This is definitely, in my opinion, the best farm within Act 1 and gives you a ton of rosaries and shards per run. I believe it's 17 shards and around 29 rosaries each time you go and kill the 3 enemies in this room, but you want to start at the halfway house, run directly to the right into the next room, and then after that kill the 3 enemies that are sitting right there. If you become efficient at this, you can definitely get this done in under a minute and give yourself a ton of rosaries and shards so you can buy tools as well as equip all your tools without having any problems. I do also want to take a minute here and show you exactly what I'm using in terms of my farming setup. If you wanted to take off the compass and put on something else, you're more than welcome to do so. However, I just have that so I can show you guys where on the map that I am, so you can do these farms. But this is everything that I am using. Typically, I don't use tools while I'm farming, but the conch cutter as well as the sting shard do a ton of damage to take out a lot of enemies very quickly, as well as the Wisp-Fire Lantern helps me get a little bit of extra damage off as well. So this is what I am using as a setup, but you can use whatever you would like. This is just what I have found is the most efficient for me. Hey, during my editing, I'm realizing that in that build that I just showed you, I don't have the Thieves Mark equipped, which is the dumbest thing I could possibly do doing a rosary farm video. So if you have the Thieves Mark, definitely use this. This is going to help get you more rosaries every single time you kill an enemy, but if you get hit, you'll lose a little bit of rosaries as well, so keep that in mind. Next up, we have a farm that is located within the Whiteward. This is going to be both a shard and rosary farm, and it requires you killing about 6 different enemies, all very close to the bench. You need to run directly to the left, kill the 2 enemies in that room, run into the next room, and there's going to be 3 enemies that you need to take out. After that, you just run directly back to the bench to reset your entire area. This farming method is going to net you 22 shards each time you run, as well as 61 rosaries. The whole farm shouldn't take more than about a minute and a half, so you can do the math, but you're going to get a lot of rosaries and shards here per hour. Now it does need to be stated, obviously, your times will either be more or less depending on what you're using to farm and your setup, how far you are in the game, and possibly a few other factors. However, the numbers that I am pulling up are what I am getting per hour, which in my opinion is actually quite a lot, depending on what farm or shard farm you're deciding to do. Next up, we're going to be in the Choral Chambers. You're going to be located right here on the map, and we are going after the Choral Chambers Giants. Each one of these is going to give you a ridiculous amount of rosaries as well as shards, although they are a little bit harder to kill. It does take a little bit longer to farm, but there are 4 or 5 of them that you can get done in one run, giving yourself well over 125 rosaries per run. The setup that I showed you earlier in the video is what I was using to farm these guys as well, and although you can tweak it, I find that attacking them very aggressively and quickly gives me the best opportunity to get as many rosaries as possible as fast as I can. Now this farm for sure is probably going to be the first farm where you are going to really differ between what I am doing and what you are doing based on all the factors that I previously mentioned of where you are in the game, your kit, and how good you are at killing these giants. So this run is going to give you 15 to 20 shards per giant, as well as 32 rosaries per giant on any given run, which is going to leave you around 2,760 rosaries per hour, as well as 450 shards. Next up is one of my favorite shard and rosary farms because it's incredibly easy to do, and you're going to start in the far left of the coral chambers right under the high halls. All this farm requires you to do is run into the next room, and there's going to be a small troop of 3 enemies. All you need to do is kill all 3 of those enemies, grab the shards and rosaries, and come right back to this spot. Now the entire farm only is going to take you around 36 seconds, and it's going to give you 37 rosaries and 13 shards every single time you do it. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but in an hour you can get 1,300 shards and 3,700 rosaries. Next farm is going to be another coral chambers farm, and you're going to be located right here on the map next to the Underworks and right under the stage. All this farm requires you to do is to run directly out of the room and kill the 2 enemies that are sitting on the ground. They are very, very easy to kill. Both of them together are going to give you 23 rosary, 9 shards, and that definitely doesn't sound like a lot, but you can literally do this in about 15 to 20 seconds and repeat this process a ton of times within an hour. Now, because of the speed of this farm, if you do this consistently for an hour, you're going to get 3,120 shards and 5,520 rosaries within the hour. Now this next farm on the list is a shard only farm, but it is an infinite amount of shards, and you can only do this in Act 2. If you've gotten to Act 3, you cannot come back to this room or this point in the game and do this particular farm, but you're going to start in the high halls located right here on the map. You're then going to jump up to this room I'm showing you here, and you need to hit this cart into the middle of the room. There's a secret room on top, and this is going to allow you to double jump and get into the next area so you can enter, and then all of these silk stealing guys are going to spawn over and over and over again. This room can be quite perilous because they steal your silk so much you really can't heal, but they continually drop a ton of shards each time you kill one. I think looking back at my footage, I probably should have equipped the cog flies for this and used my silk skills a lot more. However, as I said, they steal all your silk so fast that I think tools are definitely going to be the best option in this area. And even though your tools are going to take up the shards you're farming, you're going to get way more shards in this farm than it's going to take to craft all your tools. But guys, there you have it. That is going to be all the shard and rosary farms that I think are good enough and worth your time for Act 1 and 2 of Silksong. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification on the way out. Remember, all the numbers that you've seen in this video are accurate without the Thieves Mark equipped. If you equip the Thieves Mark, you're going to be getting way more rosaries, as I discussed in the middle of the video. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching until the end of the video, and until next time, guys, stay safe, enjoy the game, and I'll see you in the next one.